Hi, this is Boo Joe with Moon Goddess 114433, and I am bringing you another pick a card reading. This pick a card reading is going to be, what is your person's intentions towards you? We're going to look at what are their intentions. We're going to view how they view you. We're also going to see a couple cards for what their sexual desires are towards you. So, of course, I do have to put this disclaimer out that if you're not 18 years or older, bye-bye. This is not the video for you. This does have some cards on here with adult themes, okay? There is going to be an adult words. So if you are not 18, please watch another video, okay? So we have three piles for you. Pile 1 is with the cornelian. Pile 2 is with the pyrite. And pile 3 is with oh, is, well, it was the rhodonite, but let's pick up. Let's go with adventuring. I'll have to find that afterwards. That's the only rhodonite I have. Okay, so if you need to take more time to choose your pile, you can pause the video, maybe do a little meditation, do some breathing work. Some of you may want to use a pendulum, okay? However is best for you to choose, just go ahead and do that now. I'm going to go ahead and get started with number 1, which is the cornelian. Move this over here to where you can see the cards. Okay. So for those of you who chose number 1 with the cornelian stone, let's first look at what your person's intentions are towards you. We have the 3 of Wands, the 8 of Pentacles, and the 5 of Cups. Okay, so their intentions towards you. Well, with the 3 of Wands, usually that's in the regular tarot where you can see the man standing on the shoreline waiting for his ships to come in, okay? But with this card, this lady here is dancing. It's like she's got her little, to me it reminds me of like a rain dance or something. But she's doing this little dance in between these 3 wands, okay? So to me, since it looks like a rain dance, and then you have the sun out here, right, which is joy. To me, she's manifesting her desires. Okay, so she's probably making long-term plans. Your person I'm saying her, but this person may be making plans, trying to figure out how to make their dreams come true. Okay. And this is a card of activity. So they're actively making these plans. They're actively manifesting their dreams into reality when it comes to you. And then with this 8 of Pentacles, okay. So we have this lady who's looking at this, is this rose, right? It looks like this rose in a rose bush, but these aren't other roses surrounding it. There's pentacles surrounding this rose, okay? The 8 of Pentacles represents someone who's full of wisdom and skill, someone who uses cleverness to fulfilling their ambitions and their work. They put in effort and dedication. So of course you have someone who's actively trying to manifest something for the long term, and they're doing it in a clever way. They're putting forth the dedication and the effort towards this. Okay. And then you have the 5 of Cups. So the 5 of Cups usually represents, like, you know, usually it's someone standing there where they're looking at the 3 cups that's spilt, and they don't see the 2 cups behind them. But in this deck, it looks like she's kind of grieving. All 5 decks are spilt over. Okay, it looks like maybe one of them had a rose in it. So, but with this, the 5 of Cups, because it usually has the 2 cups behind it. I see the 5 of Cups as like hope for a renewal of a relationship. Hope even when everything looks lost, because it looks like everything's lost, but then there's still this rose here. Okay, so to me, it's just like, okay, I'm really seeing this as the people who picked this deck probably in separation, maybe had a breakup, and no matter how gloomy things look, this person that you're thinking of, they have full intentions of moving towards you and renewing the relationship. They still have hope. They still got petals on that rose. They're thinking of the different ways and options that they have to manifest this dream and this joy, and renewing the joy that y'all once had. Okay. Now let's kind of look at how this person views you. Okay. How they view you. You have the 9 of Pentacles. The 3 of Swords. And the Knight of Wands. Okay, so how they view you. Well, you have the 9 of Pentacles here, which usually represents an independent woman, a woman who's made things on her own. She's wealthy, abundant. She has strong morals, and she's modest. But most important is that she's self-sufficient. Like, they see you as someone who does not need them. It's like you don't have to have that person. You don't need them. If you have that person in your life, it's because you want them there. And then we have the 3 of Swords, which usually represents grief, heartbreak, separation, So they see you as being by yourself. You're not lonely, but you are hurting. They do believe, they view you as someone who's hurting and heartbroken, probably from the separation of you two. Then we have the Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Wands is someone who's passionate, bold, someone adventurous and outgoing, generous, and definitely sexy. Okay. They may see you as trying to move on from this heartbreak. Okay. That you don't need anyone, but maybe you do want to take on some new adventures. But it seems like their intentions are to try and to get back with you before you can do that, right? So now let's look at what their sexual desires are towards you. Okay. So for their sexual desires, we have the 3 of Pentacles, the Lovers, and the Devil. Okay, so of course the Devil is Capricorn energy. Doesn't mean that you have to have Capricorn, or your other person doesn't have to have Capricorn in their chart, but it can be in there. Of course, I am getting ahead of myself, because first we had the 3 of Pentacles. I'm sorry, it's just the Devil card always cracks me up, because he's got the dick in his hand. He's just okay. First, well, their sexual desires are for you are the Three of Pentacles is like, you know, recognizing everything you've put in. Probably sexually, you may be someone who's a giver. You do all the giving. Maybe if you're a female, maybe you like to give more than you receive. And they just want to lift you up, you know. Look at him lifting her up. He just wants to put her on a pedestal and show her, you know, start giving to her back like she is given to him, okay? He wants to reciprocate all that you've given to him, okay? And we have the Lovers. So the Lovers, you know, can sometimes represent making a choice between two people. Um, your person wants to show you that you are their choice. You know, there is no one else other than you. You're the one they want, okay? Um, and, you know, it's like Lovers also represents to me union, okay? Coming together. You know, they want to lift you up and come together and show you that you're the only one that they got eyes for. Because here, if you look, you know, he's just looking at her and she's all sexy and voluptuous and everything. And this one here, she's just kind of curled up on herself like, oh, I don't really belong over here. Because he's not even paying her no mind. He's just like, whatever. Then we have the Devil card. So he may like to enjoy you masturbate. And this also, he may masturbate thinking about you. So, and that's a very strong with this card. Also, it can represent, the Devil can represent addiction. So he may be sexually addicted to you. Maybe he believes that you're the best sex he's ever had. Okay? If you haven't had sex with this person yet, he definitely fantasizes about the sex. Okay? And he definitely wants to watch you play with the kitty. Or the sword, whichever you have. Okay, so moving on to those that picked pile 2 with the pyrite. Try not to lose any more of my stones here. Okay, how does your person, what is your person's intentions towards you? So we have the Two of Cups. Ooh la la. We have the Queen of Swords. We have the Five of Swords. This card always just cracks me up. Look at him lay there. Okay. So, their intentions towards you. Well, the Two of Cups represents people who are soulmates, okay? Maybe twin flames, higher level soulmates. They recognize you as the one. Their intentions, they want to have that intimate love relationship with you. Like, this is, you know, coming into union, okay? They want that union with you. Have the Queen of Swords. And if you look at the Queen of Swords, because there's the man and woman lovers in the window in the background. And so it's like they want to be very attentive, observant. It's like she's very clear. Like, they may even be watching. If you have your own YouTube channel, or you have your Facebook or Instagram, whatever social outlet you're on, I really sense they're watching you, okay? They're very observant and thoughtful about observing you, about what they see. But at the same time, the Queen of Swords has to do with someone who's dealt with loss and abandonment. Okay, so they may feel the loss of you not being around. They may be feeling, for some reason, maybe there's that chemistry between you, but there's some kind of situation that's keeping you apart, maybe distance or some kind of boundaries, some kind of obstacles, and it's like this person is having to deal with um, that feeling of being alone and abandoned, and um, they're having to observe. Maybe they're having to observe, for some of you, they're having to observe you be happy with someone else. Um, sometimes we put on Facebook, I say we, I don't really make any posts on Facebook. I do have an Instagram, but on Facebook, it's like, you see so many people who put all these, like, this is a Facebook post. I'm really seeing this as a Facebook post, right? Maybe you and a person you've been dating, and this may be what you post, but it's not necessarily what's going on and what's actually going on. You may actually fight a lot, but anyways, this person seeing these posts is making your person feel abandoned and rejected, and they feel like they lost out. Okay, their intentions, of course, and then they have the Five of Swords. And the Five of Swords, this tells me that their intentions is just to lay there and do nothing. And it's just like, you know how when you're a teenager, you're really dramatic, and you're like, oh, nothing ever works out for me, and then you just kind of flop back on the bed. That's what this card reminds me of. Okay, it's just like, they're just going to accept the unavoidable, right? It's like they feel total weakness, total disgrace. So their intentions towards you, they recognize you as their soulmate, their other person. They intend to keep on watching you and observing your life, but for some reason they feel like, you see how the swords are kind of trapping them in while they lay there? It's like they feel like they can't get past these obstacles to get to you, so they're just going to give up. That's their intention. I'm sorry, but that's what the cards are telling me. That's what Spirit is telling me. They just feeling like there's nothing they can do about it. That's how they feel. Okay. How does your person view you? So, we have the Knave of Swords, the Eight of Swords, and the Queen of Pentacles. Okay. First of all, I do have to point out the Eight of Swords. This person is trapped, but I'm sensing that your person is actually the one who feels trapped. Like they don't have any options. They don't have any choices. Okay. But let's back up to how they view you. We have the Knave of Swords. Okay. So with the Knave of Swords, they view you as someone who's intelligent, discreet, observant. You're really good at keeping secrets, and you're very strategic. Okay. And the Swords has to do with communication. So you're probably someone who's very clear on vocalizing your intentions and what you want and what your desires are. And yet, he's got the sword down. He's got his mouth closed, his eyes closed. So, again, good at keeping secrets. Okay. And it's like you keep everyone's secrets. You don't tell anything. Okay. They also view you as someone who's been able to overcome your obstacles, even though they feel like they still have theirs too, that's insurmountable, right? And yet they look at you as someone who's freed yourself, someone who has released. For some of you, they recognize the fact that you've outgrown social programming, and you've outgrown what other people intend for your life. You've recognized who you are, and you walk in your truth. Okay. Then we have the Queen of Pentacles. This is someone who's very generous, very good-natured, has a very strong business sense, They are confident and optimistic. So they view you as all these things. Sometimes also the Queen of Pentacles can represent someone who's very good in the bed. So maybe they view you as someone who they would like to get to know in a more deeper level. So let's go ahead and look at that now. Let's look at their sexual desires for you. So we have the Six of Swords. We have the Death card. Now the Death card can represent Scorpio. It is the Scorpio card. That doesn't mean you don't have to have that in your chart or your person. But you could, and it could be like in a placement, not necessarily the sun, but it could be in the moon, the rising, your north node, south node, in your Venus. There's different places it could be. But the Death card just mainly, don't get scared. They don't want to have sex with you while you're dead. Don't worry about that. The Death card just represents transformation. And then you have Knight of Wands. Okay. So, of course, wands and knights, not knights, wands and swords, they represent, in tarot card, they represent the male penis. So, these have a very strong masculine energy to them just because they do represent the phallus. So this person has a very strong, again, they have this very strong sex drive. And it's like, I'm getting a sense of they just want to ravish you at first sight. Okay? Like they can't even wait to get in the house or the hotel or wherever the bed is. Like they cannot wait. They have to ravish you at first sight. Forget love at first sight. It's ravish at first sight. He's not even completely underneath the bushes with her. It's like, oh my God. So, he's tore her clothes off. He's tore her necklace. Her necklace is kind of broken. It's like, yeah. And the sex with you is they probably view you as someone who the sex is transformative. Maybe if you've had sex before, you've probably went through the Kundalini awakening, where it's, you feel that, and a lot of people don't talk about the sexual energy aspect of the Kundalini awakening, but, they've probably felt that in their sacral chakra, where you feel like that just ball of not up energy is sitting on your G-spot, right? And it doesn't matter how many times you orgasm, you're going to have to clear that chakra and move that Kundalini up, honey. Because, let me tell you, doesn't matter how much you do. And so we have a timepiece here. So you've spent a lot of time, many of you have spent a lot of time knowing this person. Maybe you've been back and forth in each other's lives for a long time. And also it can indicate that y'all coming together in divine timing, okay? Also, this person may have a bent dick. Hey, different people, different strokes, different folks, And then we have the Knight of Wands. So after all this transformative sexcapades, they want to ride off in the sunset with you, right? They want you to ride their horse, their stallion. They're like, come and ride me, baby. Okay. Thank y'all for watching. That was fun. Okay. I'm moving on to those that picked pile 3. Those of you that picked pile 3 with the green adventurine, it was the rhodonite, but I dropped it somewhere underneath my desk. So it's the green adventurine now. So those of you that picked pile 3, how does your person, You know, what are their intentions towards you? Trying to get it out. So we have the Two of Wands. The Prince of Pentacles. Dun, 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 and the High Priestess. Okay. Well, first of all, they're going to be very secretive, okay? They want to be mysterious and all that. Their intentions. And look at his face in there. And then look at his face in there. It's like, look, it's like closed books. This probably is someone that in a relationship, they don't express their feeling very well. They don't like express like heartfelt emotions very well. They probably don't say the big L word. You know, they kind of keep it all bottled up. Okay. So, and with the Two of Wands, okay, usually the Two of Wands is usually my twin flame card because you got two wands there. But with this deck, it's really more of, you know, he's standing there and he's trying to make a decision, and planning for what kind of actions they want to take in the future. And this does, since it does have wands, it does have to do, and the wands have to do with passion, okay, creativity, drive. It can also represent sexual energy, okay, and then you also have the number 2, which the number 2 has to do with partnerships. So it's like this person is planning and trying to make a decision on how they want to move in the future regarding this passionate relationship. And then we have the Prince of Pentacles. So if you look, you know, there's a bull on a cliff, right? So that tells me straight up, this is like a Taurus energy where they're just really stubborn and bullheaded. But this lets me know that this person, when they make these plans, they're going to be methodical. They're going to be persistent, and they will be merciless in pursuing that which they plan to go towards. But as far as their intentions and how they plan on doing it, they haven't quite made up their mind yet. And when they do make up their mind, they're going to want to surprise you. It's like everything's a mystery, even though it's like they can kind of see below the surface, and they have the idea of what they want. They don't actually have it in fruition yet. So the ideas are still coming to them. But she does have the yin yang symbol on her forehead. So that to me gives me an idea of their intentions of coming into union with their divine counterpart, which assuming that if you're watching this, it is you. Okay, so how do they view you? I've already moved those out of the way. So we have the Queen of Chalices, the Four of Wands, and the Knave of Chalices. So you have some cups here, which has to do with emotions and love and romance, and then some wands, which have to do with passion, okay? So you have the Queen of Wands, right? And the Queen of Wands is someone who's viewed as being compassionate and sensitive, someone who's creative, honest, probably have a romantic streak in you, very loving, and they find you extremely enchanting, okay? You also may be someone who's viewed as being psychic or empathic. But the Four of Wands, this tells me they view you as someone who's their romantic partner, someone who they consider their family. Because the Four of Wands is like a card of like traditional marriage, partnerships. So they view you as someone they could probably happily ever after be married to. And then you have the Knave of Chalices. So the Knave of Chalices lets me know that you are very affectionate. Okay, you're very considerate and highly nurturing. And also with the cup here, sometimes it can be interpreted as someone receiving news of pregnancy. So that will resonate with maybe a couple of you, but not all of you. For the most part, just represents someone who's very affectionate and giving. Okay. What are the sexual desires towards you? So we have the Judgment card, Justice. Your person or you may have some Libra in your chart. And the Eight of Swords. Wow. Okay, well, okay, so when I look at this card, they're being tied up together. They may, for some of you, this may represent some kinkiness. They may like to take turns tying you up, or you tying them up. They may like to be, dominated, or let you be dominated, or whatever. Whichever your kinky role is. But then with it being next to the Justice card, this tells me that their sexual desires to you have to do with like traditional marriage and getting married, especially when you have these two together. It's like being committed, having contracts, tying the knot. Okay. And then you have the Eight of Swords. So if you look at this really good with this Eight of Swords, he's focused on her, and she's kind of looking like, you see in the doorway, there's the devil. If you remember, the devil carries the dick in his hand. But it also has to do with, desires and addictions and, things that we fantasize about. But what I'm really getting from this is your person, their sexual desire, it just really seems to fall around maybe tying the knot with you, so that way whoever their competition is, they can take your focus off of this person and onto them. Okay? Or maybe this is your person, and like, hey, look at my dick, and my dick is in my hand, and she's looking like, oh, look at that dick. Okay, moving on. Whatever resonates with you, honey child. So, thank you for watching. I had fun doing that one for you. I hope you had fun watching. Do realize that these are general readings. Only take what resonates and just throw out the rest. Again, my name is Billy J with Moon Goddess 114433. If you need a personal reading, you can contact me at moongoddess114433@gmail.com, or you can visit my webpage. All the information will be down in the description box. Thank you. Have a nice night.